Hello, language learners. This is the Spoken English Code, where we learn to understand spoken English. In this video, we will learn some new vocabulary and hear some examples of a Brooklyn accent from Dr. Anthony Fauci. He is the US government's top infectious disease expert and is often seen in TV in 2020. In this video clip, he is answering questions from CNN's senior medical correspondent, Elizabeth Cohen. You can watch the complete interview through the link in the description below.
You've got to do the testing to find out.
You gotta is a reduction of you have got to, which means you have to, you must, you gotta.
You've got to do the testing to find out.
To find out is a phrasal verb, which means to discover, to understand.
To find out.
You can also hear Dr. Fauci's accent here. Now, I know it is difficult to hear these little differences in accent, but an American would notice that Dr. Fauci has a Brooklyn accent. We can hear it when he says, find out. Not find out.
To find out.
But find out.
To find out. I doubt seriously that any vaccine will ever be 100% protected. The best we've ever done is measles, which is 97 to 98% effective.
Measles is a disease.
That would be wonderful if we get there. I don't think we will. I would settle for a 75% effective vaccine.
To settle.
I would settle.
To settle means to be satisfied with, not to be happy with, but be okay with. This verb communicates this idea that you are not really excited about the result, but that you can accept it.
I would settle for a 75% effective vaccine, because that would bring you to that level of would be herd immunity level.
We have a reduction of because to cause.
Because that would bring you to that level of would be
a little fragmented language as he forms his thoughts.
Herd immunity level.
Herd immunity.
Herd immunity level.
This is an important word of 2020. A herd is a group of animals that live together. Think of sheep or cows. Herd immunity is a form of indirect protection to an infectious disease that happens when a large percentage of the population has become immune to the disease. Herd immunity.
So I'm glad you mentioned that number, because the CNN poll and other polls have shown
a little fragment.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Glad means happy. A CNN poll. CNN is a reference to the American news channel. Let's remember, somebody may not know what CNN is. A poll is when you ask a large number of people a question and record their answers. So, to survey people, to poll people.
As a CNN poll and other polls have shown that in this neighborhood, about a third of Americans are not going to get the vaccine.
In this neighborhood. This is an idiom that is used a lot in the United States. In clear international English, it means approximately. It comes from the idiom in the neighborhood of something. A neighborhood means the local area around a house. So when we say you are in the neighborhood of something, it means you are nearby. Think that the house is the exact number. If you are in the neighborhood, you are near to the number. You're close to the number. Americans also say in the ballpark, which comes from the sport of baseball. So it's a cultural reference. It means the same thing, approximately.
In this neighborhood, about a third of Americans are not going to get the vaccine. They say they're not going to get it, even if it's free and easy to get.
If you like grammar, we can see she used going to because she is highlighting the idea that these people don't plan to get the vaccine. Using going to and not will is better here because she is speaking about their intention not to get the vaccine.
They say they're not going to get it, even if it's free and easy to get.
Notice her twos start to sound a little like ta.
To get.
This is simply connected speech at work.
Free and easy to get, or that they're very, very hesitant to get it. If only, say, 75% of Americans are willing to get the vaccine.
Willing is an adjective that means happy or open to doing something. To be willing to do something means to do something if it is needed.
75% of Americans are willing to get the vaccine, and it's only, say, I think you just said 75% effective. Is that going to get us to herd immunity?
Listen to the reduction of going to gonna.
Is that going to get us to herd immunity?
Gonna get us.
Is that going to get us to...
This to also changes to ta.
Is that going to get us to herd immunity?
Many students I work with think that connected speech and reductions are simply informal English or street English. No, my friends, I'm sorry, but that's simply not true. Reductions are used frequently by almost all native speakers. It does not have to do with your education. Both of the speakers in today's video are very highly educated, but we can hear both of them using reductions. If you want to understand real spoken English, you have to learn this part, this very important part of the spoken English code.
Is that going to get us to herd immunity?
Unlikely.
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 This means probably not. We can also note something about Dr. Fauci's speaking style here. He can give quite direct answers. This has made him popular with many people in the US and unpopular with some Donald Trump supporters when he contradicts the president's message.
And that's one of the reasons why we have to make sure we engage the community.
This have to starts to sound like HAFTA. It's not quite there, but it's on its way. Have to make.
We have to make sure.
Have to make sure.
We have to make sure we engage the community.
Engage the community. Connect to and motivate the community.
Engage the community. As we're doing now.
More connected speech, this G gets eaten a little. Not completely, but some of you will not hear the G, so it sounds like doing.
We're doing now. We're doing now. To get community people to help us, for people to understand.
Community people means people from the local area. This for sounds like fur.
For people to understand.
Listen to the difference. For
people to understand.
This is because of accent.
That we are doing everything we can to show that it's safe and that it's effective.
He pronounced the G here, so let's be clear that native speakers don't always reduce their words or eat their letters. It just depends.
And it's for the good of them as individuals and in society to take the vaccine. So we have a lot of work to do because, as you well know,
a lot of is reduced to ALOTTA.
A lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do.
As you well know, he is showing respect to his speaking partner.
There is a general anti-science, anti-authority, anti-vaccine feeling among some people in this country.
He is speaking about a very important topic, but let's listen to his accent. Listen to the pronunciation of the word science here.
Anti-science.
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 Most Americans can hear the Brooklyn accent on this word.
Among some people in this country.
Among means with or within.
An alarmingly large percentage of people, relatively speaking.
Alarming means surprising. It should start alarms ringing. Relatively speaking, this means when compared to the total number of people in the United States. Relatively speaking can be used when you are judging one thing in comparison to other things. This fish is very big, relatively speaking, when compared to most other fish. This cake is very good, relatively speaking, when compared to most others. Don't say that to your girlfriend. Just tell her her cake is very good.
You just have to go on Facebook.
With emotion comes speed. And you can feel her frustration here with anti-vaccine groups. Have to is reduced to HAFTA.
You just have to go on Facebook. There's so many, and those groups have really penetrated social media.
We have some fragments as she forms her thoughts. There is a little mistake here. There is should be there are. She probably heard this mistake in her ears, which made her stop her sentence and start again.
There's so many, and
she fixed her little mistake, right?
There's so many, and those groups have really penetrated social media.
To penetrate means to enter into or to get access to.
How are you and other members of the public health world going to get in there and counteract what they've created?
To counteract means to reduce the effect of something unwanted by doing the opposite.
Counteract what they've created. All of these lies they've created over the years. How are you going to undo that?
More connected speech here because of speed. How are you going to may sound like one long, fast word. How are you gonna?
How are you going to undo that?
To undo. That means to remove the good or bad effects of something.
How are you going to undo that?
It's not going to be easy, Elizabeth. Anyone thinks it'll be easy is not facing reality.
Going to is reduced to gonna.
It's not going to be easy, Elizabeth.
Honestly, I'm not sure if he says if here.
Elizabeth, anyone thinks it'll be easy is not.
If he is starting the sentence with anyone, we should add a who here. Spoken languages like this, we are missing pieces here and pieces there. There are fragments and filler. That's important to remember when you are trying to understand. Also take it as a reminder that you don't have to be so perfect when you are speaking.
It's going to be very difficult. It's going to require hard work.
You can also hear his accent again on this word.
Require.
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 Public messaging by people who they trust. You know, they may not like a government person in a suit.
The most frequent filler of all, you know?
You know, they may not like a government person in a suit like me telling them, even though I will tell them.
Even though is a connecting phrase that means even if or despite the fact that.
They really need to see people that they can relate to in the community. You know, sports figures.
Professional athletes who people respect and will listen to. Again, we can hear Dr. Fauci's Brooklyn accent on the R here.
Sports figures.
Sports figures.
Sports figures. Sports figures. Community heroes, people that they look up to.
To look up to someone is a phrasal verb, which means to respect or to admire someone.
People that they look up to.
So these respected people in the community, they need to tell the public to get the vaccine. That way, more people will get it. Is this the same in your country? Do you see professional athletes or famous people speaking on TV to communicate the public health messages? Here in Italy, where I live, that happened a lot at the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak. For more spoken English videos, click on one of these. This mission is accomplished.